What immediately tells you someone is a trashy parent? I drove a school bus for 8 years, and let me tell you, I've seen things that would make your stomach turn. But nothing prepared me for Mason. This tiny third grader would climb onto my bus every morning with his hoodie pulled low over his face, always heading straight for the back seat without saying a word to anyone. The first thing I noticed was the smell. Sharp, chemical, like gasoline fumes had been soaked into his clothes. I figured maybe his dad worked on cars or something, but it was every single day. The smell was so strong that other kids started covering their noses and moving away from him. Mason never talked to the other kids, never laughed at their jokes, just sat there staring out the window with that hood up. He looked so small in that oversized sweatshirt, like he was trying to disappear completely. After a few weeks, I started paying closer attention to him. One morning in October, Mason stumbled getting on the bus and his sleeve rode up. I saw red marks all up his arm, like burns or something worse. My heart dropped, but when I asked if he was okay, he just pulled his sleeve down and mumbled that he fell off his bike. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was seriously wrong, so I called CPS that afternoon. I gave them an anonymous tip about possible abuse, described what I'd seen, mentioned the constant smell of gasoline. A caseworker went out to the house within a week. 2 days later, I got a call back. The report said no concerns were found. Mason had told them the marks were from helping his dad with yard work, and his parents seemed cooperative. Case closed, they said. But I knew something wasn't right. That's when I started keeping a notebook. Every day I wrote down what time Mason got on the bus, what he smelled like, any marks I could see, how he was acting. The gasoline smell got stronger. Sometimes he'd fall asleep on the ride and I'd see him shivering even though the bus was warm. Then came that rainy Thursday morning in November. Mason got on the bus, but something was different. No backpack, no shoes, just dirty socks that were soaking wet from walking through puddles. His jeans were too big and held up with a piece of rope instead of a belt. I pulled the bus over at the next stop and called the school counselor directly. I told her everything I'd been documenting, everything I'd noticed over the past 2 months. This time, things moved fast. The counselor met Mason when he got to school and started asking questions. Within hours, they had a social worker there. By that afternoon, the whole truth came out. Mason hadn't been living in the house with his parents for over a month. They'd been making him sleep in their detached garage as punishment for supposedly stealing snacks from the kitchen. The garage had no heat, no bed, just old carpet on concrete and gas cans lining the walls where his dad stored lawn equipment. That's where the smell was coming from. That's why he was always cold, always hungry, always trying to hide. His parents called it temporary punishment, but there was nothing temporary about it. Mason was removed from the home that same day. When word got out, his parents tried defending themselves on Facebook, posting about how kids these days need tough love and discipline. The community wasn't having it. People were furious. I was called in to testify at the custody hearing. My notebook with all those daily observations became evidence. The judge looked at those gas can burns on Mason's arms and heard about an 8-year-old sleeping on concrete for weeks, and that was it. Mason got placed with a foster family first, but something beautiful happened. The school counselor who first stepped in when I called, she and her husband ended up adopting him. Last I heard, Mason's doing great in school, playing soccer, and finally acting like the kid he deserved to be all along.